get like a little, but
all right, go ahead. I'm already going live. Go ahead.
oh no, it's all good. Okay, let me get this one.
Guys, shalom, shalom. We're gonna give it a few minutes for a few people to join. The order of the heathens. I'm gonna break it down. Names on it.
Are you on YouTube? Are you using your phone or the laptop?
Laptop. Hey, who got to Genesis 25?
I got the Genesis 25.
All right. Right after that, we're gonna go to Second.
So, like, I think you're mute.
Yeah, I'm talking to the bar on.
Okay.
Give me just. Okay. All right. I guess we can go ahead and get started. What time? How long have we been in here? I'll wait till 4 minute mark. And then go ahead and get started. Con. So first and foremost, I'm going to give all praise and glory to Most High God Yahweh, Hashem, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Today's lesson is going to be over the order of the heathens. A blessing. A lot of brothers in the camp been wanting to kind of touch on this a little bit.
I don't know if that's just me, but it's staticking real bad, and like you like
I think it's like lagging also. I think it's like when you talk fast, it just messes up, but when you talk slow, it's perfect.
Okay. Well, I don't even know. I'm gonna fix that. I might have to jump out and jump back in. I don't know if I can jump out and jump back in.
Yeah, you can. Just I think it's leave studio and then come back. Enter studio.
All right, I'll try that.
Don't push end lesson. Just go to leave studio.
All right.
Shalom, shalom, everybody tuning in the comment section. Get a captain 1 moment, he'll be back with you.
All right. All right.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, Con.
For
All
now.
right. So again, first and foremost, I'm gonna try to go a little slow. First and foremost, I give all praise and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Mashiach, Yahweh Shai. Today's lesson is going to be over the order of the heathens. I don't see a whole lot of people going into this in the nation of Israel, but what's being done, it's been a disservice to the Israelites and the other nations by not putting everything into order, because that's what our job is, to put everything into order. Our job is to put the whole world into order, to give everybody their purpose and their job description on what they're supposed to do, right? That's what we're supposed to do. Hey, y'all brothers, let me know if I'm breaking up or staticky again. But
We're doing good. It's good so far.
all right, Con. So let me get this Genesis 12:3. Hey, shalom, shalom, everybody that joined. Shalom. Go ahead.
This is Genesis chapter 12, verse 1. It says,
Con.
Now the Lord has said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house into a land that I will shew thee. And I will make thee a great nation, and I'll bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing.
Con.
And I will bless them that.
It says, and I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee. Right? That's what the Most High God is telling Abraham. He's telling Abraham that he will bless him. We know that the blessings go from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob into the nation of Israel. That's where the blessings go. That's how the order of the blessing go, right? That's how the order of the blessings go. He's going to make him a great nation, right? And he said that it says, and I shall bless thee. It's like it. And thy shall be blessed, a blessing. So he shall be a blessing. His nation shall be a blessing, right? Continue to verse 3.
God, this is Genesis 12:3. It says, And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed.
God, now we know a blessing and a curse is an action word. It is an action word, right? It takes action to bless. You can't just say, hey, bless you, brother, and that's it. No, you got to have action behind that. It says, and I will bless them that bless thee. He's going to bless them that bless Abraham. It says, and I will curse them that curse thee. And in thee shall all families on the earth be blessed. All the families on the earth be blessed. Right? So if they bless you, they will be blessed. But if they curse you, they will be cursed. Right? That's the order of how it goes. Right? How they say the order of the I don't want to say that. I don't want to say the order. I was going to say the order of the beast, but that's how the order goes. Right? And that's divine. That's from the Heavenly Father himself. Right? So if they bless you, you will be, they themselves will be blessed. But there has to be an action behind it. And we're going to get right into the prophecy of understanding the order of things and how Esau's kingdom, the rule of Esau's kingdom and the downfall of Esau's kingdom will play right into the beginning of Jacob's kingdom. Right? So let's get that in Genesis 25 and 23.
God. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Right.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. The elder shall serve the younger.
Right. Hey,
24.
Slakia. Now, I just want to touch on this a little bit. I don't want to spend too much time because I do got a lot of material, and I know brothers got some material too, so I don't want to spend too much time on this. But I do want to make mention that it says 2 manner of people. That is 2 completely different people that are in one woman, that's in one woman, right? That's in her stomach. I'm talking about different in every way, not just in the way they look, but in the way that they think, the way that they act, the way that they talk, the way that they walk. That should give you an indication of who on earth it's talking about. On one scale, you have so-called African Americans, right? And at the other scale, at the opposite end of the scale, on the complete opposite end of the scale, you have the so-called European white man, Caucasian. They are completely different in every way. It says 2 manner of people, completely different, right? The way that they think, the way that they talk, the way that they smell, everything is completely different. So it should give you an indication of who the scripture is talking about. It gives descriptions. Right? But go ahead.
Salakia. Hey, they say that you're still breaking up.
God, you kind of was breaking up right then and there.
Okay.
Do a little mic check real fast. Shot.
I don't know how to do that.
I think the further you might be, like the further you get away from your laptop, like when you like stand up straight kind of thing, or sit up straight.
Okay.
It's like if you could like scoot in maybe a little bit.
Okay.
That's my guess.
All right, let me try to scoot it up to me.
Because like right here, like we hear you perfectly. Like, you know what I'm saying, when you like are close to it.
Con, how was that?
Perfect.
How's that? Good. Okay, Con. All right, hold on. Let me get Captain back in. Con. Okay, but just to give you an indication of who the description is on earth, right? 2 manner of people. But go ahead, continue on.
God, Genesis chapter 25, verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau.
Right.
Verse 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when he bare them.
No, it says, and after that came his brother out. Right? What's that noise? Okay, Con. It says, after that came his brother out. It says, and took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. But it said it took hold of Esau's heel. That is another important indicator of the scriptures of understanding who and what's going on and what's getting ready to happen. Right? Took hold of Esau's heel. So you have one baby coming out.
Starting to speed up.
Say that again.
Starting to do that again.
Damn.
All right, try it now. Keep going.
All right, I'm just gonna try to get it close to my face. Hopefully, I don't. Maybe if I don't speak so loud, I don't know. Maybe it don't break up. I don't know where the mic is on this.
Hey, if y'all heard it, let them know though, so you know we can figure out what it is.
Yeah, but it says, and took hold of Esau's heel. So the description, right, is when the baby is leaving, Esau is leaving, is exiting his mother's womb. He is the first to leave, and at the end of his descent, you see the hand on the heel of Esau. Right, that is a prophecy. Right, let's get 2 Ezra 6 and 7, and we're gonna read down to 9. 2 Ezra 6 and 7. because I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to give it away, but it's a very good indicator of what's going to happen and what's going to come. But don't forget, this is about blessings, right? The whole, it says back at Genesis 12 and 3, it says, and I will bless them that bless thee, and I will curse him that curse thee. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Right? So just off that top, man, you don't want, when you got some sincere heathens out there. I met them personally. I've talked to them personally that are willing to serve. They are willing to serve. You are stopping your blessing and theirs, right? We as Israelite men have to do a better job of putting this earth in order, right? Let's not miss out on our blessings. Okay? Let's get but don't forget, it said in thee shall all the families on the earth be blessed, right? Okay, so let's get 2nd Ezra 6 and 7 through 9. Baba Kushai, who got that?
This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 7.
Go ahead.
2nd Esdras 6 and 7, and it reads, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of Slakia? Or when shall be the end of the time of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him.
Go on, Salakia. So it's saying, Ezra is asking the angel, how long of a period of time? When is it going to end? When is our kingdom going to begin? When is all of this folly and foolishness of this kingdom going to cease? Right? When is this age going to end? And when is ours going to begin? Right? And verse 8, read verse 8 again, Baba Kusha. I think I just got to slow down, Akim. The water.
Verse 8. And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him. Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Can you read it?
Go ahead.
Verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that following.
Khan, now Jacob is the end of the world. He is the end of the age. And Jacob, Slaki, Esau is the end of the age, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So as soon as Esau's kingdom falls, immediately, just as Esau was leaving the womb of his mother, holding the heel, Jacob holding his heel, immediately after will you start to see Jacob's rise, right? This is the prophecy. This is how it's going to look, right? Now we have to, as Israelite men, put the world in order the best we can, right? Let me get Isaiah 4 and 1 because there's something that everyone has to see, right? If you don't know, so everyone has to see this. Isaiah 4 and 1.
God, this is Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. It says, And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach.
Right. So that these 7 women will take hold of one man and they will eat their own bread and wear their own apparel. We know this is not talking about the kingdom. In the kingdom, they will be taken care of. So something is happening here. Something here is happening, right? And what's happening is the uprise of Jacob's kingdom, right? This is talking about today, The Esau's kingdom, everyone is seeing the fall of Esau's kingdom. Everyone, right? So as soon as the fall of Esau's kingdom, just like he ascended from his mother, from the womb, and Jacob held the heel of Esau, Jacob's kingdom will begin to rise up, right? So the distinction, and it says, only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach, to take away our shame. It is a shame to be a single parent mother. It is a shame to have not a husband, right? She's trying to take away her shame to get into the kingdom. Okay, so the order here, and I want everybody, I pray that everybody is seeing the order of how this thing is going, is that the fall is taking place, but the rise of Jacob is happening, right? And as it's happening, his blessings are starting to come, right? His blessings are starting to come. As a matter of fact, now that I think about it, let me get Deuteronomy 28 and verse 7. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 7.
God, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 7. And it reads, the Lord shall cause thy enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways.
Done. So this is the blessing. This is part of the blessings that's going to happen, that did happen for a short time, and it's going to happen again, right? These blessings are going to happen. It says, and the Lord shall cause thine enemies. This is everyone outside of the nation of Israel. It says, and the Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. This is the blessing that the Most High God is going to put and restore back into the nation of Israel, right? And it's going to be a beautiful thing, and this is how it's supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to be from the beginning, right? And I pray that you, the heathens of the other nations, are seeing this, because this is our blessings, right? We desire good servants. We don't desire to always be beating our servants, right? That can take a toll on us, to always be beating our servants. That doesn't make us happy. We want to enjoy our kingdom, right? So in order for us to do that, we have to have the other nations in order and having good understanding of their place. We want them to have good understanding of their place. But it says, and the Lord, and the Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. That is a beautiful thing, right? That's not being happened. That's not happening right now, right? We see a lot of police officers getting off with paid leave and going home comfortably, shooting a black man on his couch when he's asleep, killing a black man in his car when he's asleep. We're seeing all kinds of atrocities and terror and horrible things that's happening, right? But the blessing that's going to happen is that they will be smitten in front of our face. It says, and they shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways, right? But I want you to read on. Verse 9.
Verse 8. You want me to jump to verse 9?
Oh, Slacky. Yeah. Jump to verse 9, Bible, please, sure.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 9.
Okay.
The Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God and walk in his ways.
Now listen to this. The heathens, listen to this. Listen to this. It says, and the Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself. Who is he talking to? He's talking to the nation of Israel. He's going to establish them a holy people, a separate people unto himself. This is what he's doing for a group of people on the earth that you should desire to cleave to. It is a blessing for you to cleave to a blessed people, right? It is a blessing for you to cleave to a blessed people, right? It says, and the Lord shall establish thee a holy people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God and walk in his ways. Don't cleave to an Israelite that is not keeping the commandments of God.
Salaki, you kind of cut it
Right?
out again.
The water. Don't cleave to an Israelite or a so-called black man, so-called Hispanic man, or so-called Native American that is not keeping the commandments of God. Right? You want to cleave to them that are keeping the commandments of God. Right? Let's get verse 10.
John, I got a precept after this too.
Con, go ahead. Okay, let's get that verse 10, and I got you.
Okay.
Verse 10. And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee.
Con, it says, and all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. Right? That is a beautiful thing, man. That is a blessing. That is restoration. That is the restoration of the nation of Israel. Right? That is a blessing. And that's who, as a heathen, you should cleave to. Those men and women that are keeping the laws of God. Right? Because like I said before, you have heathens out there that do desire to cleave. And it is your duty to put the nations in order. Let them know their place so that they can be blessed and that you can bless another Israelite. You are blessing another Israelite by putting things in order, right? And in return, you will be blessed, right? But go ahead, Captain, with your precept. Go ahead, Captain, with your precept.
John, brother's gonna. Can you hear me?
Con, I think my mic is still messed up, man. Go ahead, though.
Can y'all hear me?
God.
God.
All right, Con. So like he's saying, he going over dealing with the heathens that's going willfully wants to serve us. That's cool. There are heathens out there that willfully serve you, right? But there's heathens also that we would have to take into captivity, and there's heathens that's just going to.
Salaki, you cut out.
You cut out on
I have to die, man. Our wolf. Can y'all hear me?
You cut out this time.
Yeah, you kind of cut out.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
This is for the precept. So this is Jeremiah 16 and 19. It says, O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. So this is going to be the day of our affliction, which means we still in a captivity situation, like the brother was bringing out in Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. The women coming to us. It's not only going to be women, it's going to be men flocking to be out of fear, trying to get to know the Lord at the last time, at the last hour. Right? It says, in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth. They're going to be coming from everywhere because we're all across the four corners of the earth. And
You cut out again. You cut out again. Esau messing with the vocals.
they're going to try to find. Y'all can hear me?
You keep cutting out.
Okay, there you go. You came back in.
All right, God. I'm going to keep reading though. It says, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies. And we just read, it says, in a day of our affliction. This is the day of our affliction, and we see them doing this. They making more videos and videos crying, telling the whole world, admitting to the world that we are the people, which means that they have shame, which means that they're ready to serve us, man. They're ready to serve their purpose, just like we have a purpose, they have a purpose. So I want to finish this. It says, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. There's no prophet claiming to be the real Jews when the Most High said at the end, he's going to proclaim who his people are. There's no profit in that. It's just for a small moment. Now, can I get one more precept?
Con, you got it, King.
All right, Con. So this is Psalms chapter 2 and verse 8. I'm going to start at 7. It says, I will declare the decree. The Lord have said unto me, thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. Hey, and it tells you in Isaiah that Israel is his begotten too. It tells you that Salakia in 2nd Ezra chapter 6 that we're his only begotten also. So starting when Yahweh Shah Mashiach down to the children of Israel, it says, this day have I begotten thee, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance. So they already belong to us. Only thing we have to do is pray for them and do the work. It says, for thine inheritance in the utmost parts of the earth, for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. So basically, this is saying we do what we want with them, right? But as of now, we have to set up an order, a structure for them to follow. Now, if they get out of line, then that's where we come in with the breaking them breaking them in pieces like a potter's vessel, man.
Gone. And that has to be said because they have to know the good, the bad, and the ugly of everything, right? These heathens have to know, and the Israelites have to know. Everybody has to know, right? You don't if you don't put all the information out there, the order is going to turn into chaos, right? Order is going to turn into chaos. But let's get Deuteronomy 30 and 7. Deuteronomy 30 and 7.
This is Deuteronomy 30 and 7. It says, and the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
Right. So all of the curses that the blacks, Hispanics, and the native Indians are going through, they're all going to turn around and be placed on the heathens. They're all going to be placed back on the heathens. Rightfully so. Right? It says, and the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee and persecute thee. If you curse us, you will be cursed. But if you bless us, you will be blessed. Am I going out?
A little bit, but we definitely understand you.
All right, Con. I can see my little thing was kind of looking a little funny. But let's get the book of let me see if this is what I want. Let me get Ezekiel 20 and verse 5 through 7 through 6. Let me get it. Psalms 147 and 19 through 20.
Which one is
Let me get that Ezekiel. Let me get that Ezekiel 20 first. Zion, let me get that Ezekiel 20. Kodash, let me get that Psalms 147, 19.
Okay, this is Ezekiel 20 and verse what?
Verse 5 through 6.
God, this is Ezekiel 20, verse 5. It says, and say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, in the day when I choose Israel and lifted up my hand unto the seed of the house of Jacob, and made myself known unto them in the land of Egypt, when I lifted up my hand unto them, saying, I am the Lord your God.
Okay, hold on. It says, in the day when I chose Israel, when the day when I chose Israel, in the day when I chose Israel, God chose Israel, right? What is it? Malachi 3:6. For I am the Lord, I change not. God doesn't change. He hasn't changed. He still has a chosen people, right? But read on.
God, and this is Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 6. And it says, in the day that I lifted up my hand unto them to bring them forth of the land of Egypt into a land that I had espied for them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands.
So we're just talking about Israel. Israel, right? The land of Israel is where the Israelites dwell in, flowing with milk and honey, right? And that is where we bring the glory to God, right? But the point that I'm making here is that God has a chosen people, and he's always chosen the nation of Israel, right? He's always chosen the nation of Israel. We cannot forget Malachi 3:6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Right? So we got to remember that the Most High God doesn't change. He has a holy people in the beginning, and he has a holy people now, and he will always have a holy people. Okay? Let's get to Psalms 147 and 19.
God, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 147 and verse 19. Psalms 147, verse 19, and it reads, He sheweth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. Verse 20, He have not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgment, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord.
Praise ye the Lord. King David is praising the Lord in this. He's praising the Lord that he's only dealt with the nation of Israel, and he's only known the nation of Israel, right? So, like I said, God has a chosen people, and the heathens have to know this. You have to know who you are supposed to cleave to, right? Who you're supposed to cleave to, who you're supposed to get this knowledge from. The knowledge is supposed to come from his chosen people. Okay? Let's get Amos 3 and verse 1 through 2. Zion. Amos 3, 1. Kodash, let me get Jeremiah chapter 1, 4 through 5.
I can get something too.
Con. Let's get John 4:22.
Yeah.
Con, this is Amos 1. It's like Amos 3, chapter 1. And it says, Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the families on the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Con. Therefore he will punish you, Israel. He will punish you, Israel. Right? He's going to punish you, Israel, because you didn't obey. You were disobedient. Right? You've got to come back to his law, statutes, and commandments in order to get the blessings that he gave you. Right? In order for the whole earth to be blessed through you, you've got to be obedient to him. Right? But the heathens have to know who they're supposed to cleave to. Right? They have to know this. Let me get that Jeremiah 1 and 4 through 5. Just to show that the Most High God has always known. Yes, he's known all individuals and their spirits. And the Most High God he only deals with the humble. He only deals with the humble of all nations. This is why you do have other nations that have come up to you and that will cleave to you, or that will say kind words to you, even though they know their place, right? They're ready to cleave to you. And don't miss out on your blessings, right? Tell them what they're supposed to do, right? When you get a heathen that and you read out of the scriptures where they're supposed to bow and lick up the dust off their feet, that is an individual that is humble and that will be willing to serve you if you give them the proper understanding, right? He will receive his blessings because he will bless you, and you will receive your blessings, right? Let's get that Jeremiah 1 and 4.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 4. Jeremiah 1 and 4, and it reads, Then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
Unto the nations. He ordained thee to be a prophet unto the nations. That is a plural word with an S. All over the world. All the nations. He is supposed to place order in all nations. That's a S. Right? He has a job to do. The job was given to him for him to be an ambassador of the Most High, to put the world in order. Right? That's what he was supposed to do. Let's get that John 4:22. Unless one of y'all brothers got a precept, y'all can go ahead, feel free.
Yeah, I got one after this. Soldiers, y'all got one?
Bye.
Not at the moment.
All right, gone. So this is John chapter 4, verse 22. It says, Ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews.
For salvation is of the Jews. It's never changed, and it never will. It never will, right? We know that there's level of salvations, and that has to be understood. That has to be understood, that there's level of salvation, right? There's saving, and there's salvation where promises and immortality goes to a group of people only, right? That's that true salvation. But they will be blessed if they bless you and will escape the damnation and destruction that's coming to this land, right? They will receive that, right? But they have to do something. They have to cleave onto you, Israel, right? But true salvation goes to the Jews, goes to the nation of Israel, right? We don't want that to be misunderstood, right? Not in SOJ. That's not going to be misunderstood here, right? But go ahead. What's your precept?
I got a precept after Captain, so just let y'all know that.
Gone. So I want to continue reading on this, and then I want to get the precept. This is verse 23. It says, But the hour cometh, and now is. And this is talking, it was talking about at that time in John, and it's talking about the time we living in now, which is the last days, right? The Most High, Yahushua could have talked in that sense. But it says, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. So this is how you identify who you supposed to be serving as a heathen. It says, because, heathens read this book, like the brother was going over. It says, worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him. God is a spirit, and worship him must be him in spirit and in truth. So this is how they, like I said, you identify who you cleave to men that worship the Most High God in spirit and truth. But this is Romans chapter 9 and verse 4, right? Because it talks about in verse 22, ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship, right? So Romans chapter 9 verse 4, it says, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law? and the service of God and the promises. So we are the ones that was given the service of God to be able to actually serve him by him giving us these law, statutes, commandments. And so that is like the brother said, so ordering things. So they serve the Most High God by serving us. At the end of the day, the Most High told us in Psalms chapter 2:8, ask me and I shall give thee the heathen as an instance. And it tells you in 2nd Ezra, I want to get this right quick. It's in 2nd Ezra 6:57. It says, and now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy born, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes. So this is a precept for Psalm chapter 2 and verse 8. The world was given to us, the whole world and everything in it, right? So it's good to go over lessons like this so you can actually show the order, because I don't know if you know, but hey, that's part of the gospel, them serving us. If you go to Isaiah chapter 61 and you read on down from I believe it's verse 10 on down, it tells them that's part of the gospel, them serving us, them building up the waste places. But it says, if the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? And we're coming up on a time where that's about to stop. Roles are about to be reversed, but we have to be ready and grounded, worshiping the Most High God in spirit and truth, so that they can worship us. Because like the brother said, they don't need to be cleaving to no niggas, man. Because they ain't gonna do nothing but show them how to be even more wicked. They need to cleave to men that worship the Most High God in spirit and truth. But Salakia, go ahead.
Captain always does a good job. Beautifully put. Beautifully put. Beautifully put.
I got a precept.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 27. It reads, ye shall know that I am ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed. So only the Most High God Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua is only in the midst of us. He's not in the midst of the heathens, not in no niggas. He's only dealing with the Israelites throughout the whole scriptures. So just to show y'all, people that always go to the New Testament, you can read Matthew's chapter 15:24. He's only going to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So just to show y'all, when y'all read John 3:16, that's not talking about all nations, that's dealing with Israel, Isaiah 45:17, because we know that Israel's a whole world. So that's just to show you that only the Most High knows who he's coming for. And if you read the Bible and who was only talking to, that's how you get the proper understanding. But that's I'm a yield right there.
Hey, and you got a lot of heathens that actually listen to other camps. They listen to camps and they get that understanding, man. And they have that understanding. And they're willing to cleave. They know that what we're talking about is the truth. I'm telling you. I've gotten messages from heathens that are willing to serve. Right? Like, we know this, but we're doing a disservice by not putting the order out and what they're supposed to be doing. Right? They have to know their place. But does somebody have something else they want to say?
Lie.
Con. Let's get James 4 and 6. James 4 and 6. Zion. Dash, let me get Psalms 2 and 8. Captain did paraphrase this, but I want to go over this again because this is beautiful.
James 4 and 6.
Con.
This is James chapter 4 verse 6. It says, but he giveth more grace, wherefore he saith, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble.
Con. Now this goes for Israel and heathens, man. This goes for Israel and heathens, right? If you got, I'm talking about thousands on thousands on thousands of proud heathens, right? That the Most High God is going to resist, and He's not going to give them a Lord or a master, a righteous Lord or master to rule over them, right? He's not going to do that. Man, I keep feeling like that.
Hey, Salakia, they're just kind of saying like every time you go real fast, it kind of chops up. But like for the most part, when you're just talking normal, it kind of we can hear you. Just when you start speeding up is when it starts messing up. Salakia.
Okay, Con. We'll try that out. All right. It says, but I give more grace. Therefore, he shall God, Salakia, saith God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. The Most High God is going to give grace unto the humble, right? Those heathens that choose, that are come humbly and that want to serve, man, the Most High God is going to bless them with a righteous Israelite man to be for Israelite man to be over them, right? And we need to make sure that those heathens know their place, man. They think that there's an adoption, but it's kind of like a hit and miss on a lot of things. They come and they think that they have the adoption, meaning they have the promises, but we know they don't have the promises. That's not right. That's a false balance according to the Bible, right? That doesn't make sense, right? Who's going to rule over who? Everybody's going to rule everybody. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't put a good understanding to the Bible. We're supposed to put a good understanding to this Bible, right? Let's get that Psalms 2:8. It's still not sounding. Let me jump out and jump back in.
Con, I guess I'm gonna just get a precept right quick. Unless you, what are you talking about? All right, Con, I get this precept. So this is Deuteronomy. Hey, Kodash, can you get Deuteronomy 4 and 5? Let's get that.
God, it's Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5. Salakia. Deuteronomy 4 and 5, and it says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgment, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it.
Right. So whatever land you go to possess, hey, we don't have to possess it as in rule. Wherever we go to possess it, wherever we land, the Most High taught us statutes and judgments. Well, he's talking. This is Moses speaking, but he says even as the Lord has taught him, and he taught his children on down, which goes into us, and we're supposed to teach our children on down. But it says that ye should do so in the land whether you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. So if we keep in this, then people will see this and they will start to cleave to this. That's what it goes on into also, right? And we know for the longest time we was not following it, so this was not happening. But look what happens when we come back to the law, statutes, commandments. These people literally start disowning their own culture and heritage to be a part of ours. Right, and we're not talking about being a part of it with the promises and the covenants, but as in they want to walk like we walk, because that's what light do. Light helps you see and it helps you walk, right? But I want to keep going. It says, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. Right, so that you can say it about any nation. If they're wise and great with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, hey man, you're gonna follow those people because they're prospering, whether it's spiritually, physically, or mentally. Man, they're prospering because they're following something that holds a lot of weight. And this Bible holds the most weight in the whole universe. Right, it's so spiritual. And it says, "For what nation?" Verse 7. For what nation is there so great? Hey, talking about us. That's why they come to us bowing down with their face towards the earth. They admitting that we're the Israelites. Hey, some of them even admit their judgment. They like, cool, like as much stuff as we did to you, we deserve this. Now you still read them their judgments, but if they willing to serve you, you give them scriptures on how it's even in the gospel that dude was gonna serve us, or you give them these kind of scriptures. Build a foundation off these scriptures on how you're gonna address them with them serving you, right? And no, they're not all gonna serve you. They not all gonna care. Some of them ain't gonna care what you saying, but some they have they have a little bit of understanding to know that this is how they get out of all of the mess that they gotten themselves into. But it says also, for what nation is there so great who have God so nigh unto them as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon for him for? Right? It says, and what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day? All nations are going to say that. When we bring out the judgments, everybody agrees to the judgments until it is mainly dealing with them. But at the end, we can all agree that this Bible, the Most High God is righteous in all his judgments. He cannot pervert judgment. Hey, they just use different terms like karma. You reap what you sow. They still use that, but his judgments are righteous, man. Go ahead. I just had a little precept.
Khan, I don't know what you brought out, but
Deuteronomy chapter 4.
Okay, Khan. Okay, Khan. Let's get that Psalms 2 and 8. And who had that for me? Somebody had that for me?
I did.
All right, Zion, let me get Ecclesiastes 9 and 4. Ecclesiastes 9 and 4. But let me get that Psalms 2 and 8, Baba Kusha.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 2 and verse 8. Ask of me, and I shall give it. Salakia. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thy inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession.
Khan, he said, ask of thee, and I shall give thee the heathens for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Right? The heathens will be a possession to the Israelites. Thus said the Bible over and over and over again. Right? The heathens are your possessions. The heathens are your inheritance. And the uttermost parts of the earth. Right, am I still cutting out?
Kinda.
All right, Con. Let's get that Ecclesiastes. Let's try to run through this real quick a little bit. Ecclesiastes 9 and 4. And sorry, let me get
I had Ecclesiastes 9 and 4.
All right, Con. So let me get Isaiah 14 and 1 through 2.
God, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 4. It says, for to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion.
Con, it says, for to him that is joined to all the living. Now we know when we read the scriptures that the Most High God, this Bible always refers to the other nations as an animal or a dog. Right? It says, for to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope. There is hope. Right? For a living dog is better than a dead lion. We know that Israel is always classified as lions. Those Israelites that do not keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible are considered a dead lion. Right? So there is hope to those heathens that choose to cleave. Like Captain said, we know there's going to be a whole bunch of heathens that don't want to. And the Bible says, bring them before, he said, and he will smite them before thee. The Most High God is going to smite them before thee. Right? He's going to take care of it. The Most High God is going to take care of it. But the point that I want to bring out is that your possession, right? Your possession is the heathens. Your possession is the earth. That is your possession as an Israelite, man and woman. Right? But better is he that is joined to the living, is better. It says, for a living dog is better than a dead lion. All right, let's get that Isaiah 14:1.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy upon Salaki. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, but set them in their own land. The strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Continue.
Done. So this is one of my favorite precepts because it gives a good understanding of the order of Israel and the other nations, right? It kind of puts it all in order for us. It does the work for us, right? It says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel like he's always done. Israel is his chosen people, right? He said, and I will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob. Right? Go ahead, verse 2.
Verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressor.
And they shall rule over their oppressor. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants. They shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaidens, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. They will be taken captive, right? For servants and handmaids. Hey, when you read in the Bible about a servant and his job, as a heathen, you apply that to a righteous Israelite, man and woman, right? Just to give you a
Yeah, it's still like chopping a
hint.
little bit.
Man,
Just a little bit.
we're just going to have to.
All right, it's good now. I don't know why, but it's straight now. I think it is when you go like when you talk fast.
Yeah, I be forgetting. All right, but all right, moving on. We're gonna go to let's go to Jeremiah 30 and 16. Jeremiah 30 and 16 through 17. And Kodash, you can get that Jeremiah 30 and 16. Zion, get Isaiah 49 and 23. Let's get this Zechariah 8 and 23 first, Captain DeBar. Let's get that because you did quote it.
God, and I got that too after those.
Okay, come.
God, this is Zechariah chapter 8 and 23. Zechariah chapter 8 and verse 23. It says, thus said the Lord of hosts. God, it says, thus said the Lord of hosts. In those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that God is with you.
Now, this is what's going to happen in a time of Isaiah 4 and 1, right? They're going to cleave unto us, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that God is with you, Israel. That's what's going to happen, right? So, again, heathens, if you want to be blessed, right? And they do desire to be blessed. Again, Israel, they do desire to be blessed. They will bless you. Some, no, right? But they, the heathens have to understand this prophecy will come to pass, and they will cleave to you. So if you hear this, start cleaving now, right? You can be blessed. You can receive a blessing, but and give a blessing, right? by starting to serve now. Okay, but let's get that. Let's get to Jeremiah 30 and 16.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 16. Jeremiah 30 and 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversary, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all they that Salaki, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. Verse 17. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they call me, Salaki, because they call thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after.
Con. So it says, verse 16, therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, all day, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. Isaiah 14 and 1 again, right? And they shall, and it says, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. And this is going into every single heathen, every single other nation outside of Israel. This is what they did. Okay? They spoiled us. They took us into, and it didn't take us into captivity. They spoiled us. They destroyed us. They made us good for nothing. Right? They devoured us. Okay? And they will be devoured. This is a promise. Right? Heathens, if you're listening, I keep urging you to cleave, to grasp the skirt of him that is a Jew, him that is an Israelite. Right? I know you're out there. I know you're out there. Right? Hey, and the prophecy says that you will cleave.
That's muttering.
Right? God.
I don't know why. Every time I take your phone off mute, it's not muttering. Go ahead. Let me see something.
All right, Con. Let's just continue on. Let's go to Isaiah 49 and 23.
This is Isaiah 49 and 23. It sounds good right now, the audio. Isaiah 49 and 23, it says, And kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face towards the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me.
God. So they shall, it says, the king shall be thy nursing fathers, and the queens thy nursing mothers, and they shall bow down to thee, their face towards the earth, and lick up the dust of their feet. Right? Once this happens, and we see it happening over and over and over again in the streets, right? Give them their job. Give them an order. Give them a task. Start putting these heathens in order, right? This is our jobs as Israelites. Okay? Let's get that, what I have. Salakia is. Go ahead.
God, so this is Isaiah chapter 61 and verse 1. It says, The Spirit of the Lord God upon me, because the Lord have anointed to preach good tidings unto the meek. Right? So these good tidings, it goes into good news. Same thing, good news, good tidings, which is the, so I'm right here to show you the one's talking about the gospel. Right? It says, good tidings unto the meek, sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. Now I want to drop down to the point. Verse 4, it says, And they shall build up the old wastes, they shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, desolation of many generations. That's not talking about us, because if there's no point of us looking they're making us do the same thing. The old ways were at their king, but this is the time where they're going to be doing this roles reversed. They're going to be doing this for us. As and strangers shall stand and feed your flocks. You're not gonna have to. You're getting rich off the backs of the heathen. So, like the order of it, you got to give them a task, a job to do. Right? We in advanced technology dealing with this thing. As of now, you use your brain and you give them advanced or modern day task job. But it says the stranger stand and feed your, and the sons of alien shall be your plowmen, your vine dressers. But ye shall be named the priest of the Lord. Men shall call you the ministers of our God. So when we know this ain't talk about no niggas, because niggas don't serve the Most High. Niggas don't be called the priest of the Lord. It says men shall call you the ministers, which means the ones who actually serve. Minister means to serve. The ministers of our God, ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles. Eating the riches of the Gentiles, everything they do, we take away from them, and that's just what it is. And in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. Go ahead, Dog.
Con. Hey, Soldier Quadash, Soldier Zion, try to unmute your phone too, just to see if or y'all's laptop or something.
Salakia, and that's in the gospel. That's the whole point of me bringing it out in Isaiah 61, because that's written in the gospel. Salakia.
You wanted us to keep unmuted?
Yeah, stay on mute. Let's see how it work out for us. Right, hey, let's get Sirach chapter 20 and verse 7. Sirach 7, 20 and 21. Zion, let's get Sirach 7, 20 and 21. Kodash, let's get hold on. Let's get Ephesians 6, 5. Ephesians 6, 5.
You have me get something?
Con, let's get Sirach, Captain, let's get Sirach 38 and 24. And we're going to read down to 34 on that one. 24 through 34.
God. Sirach chapter 24, 39, Salakia, 39, 4.
No. Salakia. We're going to get yours last, but that's Sirach 38. I'm sorry, Sirach 38, 24.
Guys, and I got Sirach 20 and 21.
Let's get it.
God, this is Sirach chapter 20, verse 21. It says, there is that in Sakia. There is that is hindered from sinning through want, and when he taketh rest, he shall not be troubled.
Salakia. Where you at?
Sirach 20, 21.
No. Sirach 7. Sirach 7, 20, 21. Salakia. Sirach 7, 20, 21.
Salakia. It's Sirach chapter 7, verse 20. And it says, whereas thy servant worketh truly, and treat him not evil, nor the hireling that bestoweth him with folly, bestoweth himself wholly for thee.
Salaki, keep going.
Verse 21, let thy soul love a good servant and defraud him not of liberty.
It says, whereas thy servant worketh truly. If this is a servant that is working truly for you, it says, and treat him not evil. That's wise. That is wise advice. Treat him not evil, nor the hireling that bestoweth him whole of thee. It says, Salakia, bestoweth himself whole of thee. Let thy soul love a good servant and defraud him not of liberty. Right? This is talking about a good servant. So this is speaking to you Israelites and to you heathens that are servants that will serve humbly the Israelites. This is This is a righteous, wise saying from the Bible. This is righteousness, right? Those of you that choose to serve willingly and that do a good job to your master, hey, the Bible tells you to not entreat him evil. Don't treat him evil. It says to let thy soul love a good servant and defile him not of liberty. Right? You want to treat him good, right? Let's get that Ephesians.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters, according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, and singleness of your heart, as unto Christ.
Con, this goes into the leadership role, right? And the order of the leadership role of an Israelite man, of how they're supposed to be obedient and serving one another. This also applies to servants of other nations. Be obedient to your masters. Be obedient to your masters according to the flesh, right? It says, and with fear and trembling and singleness of your heart as unto Christ, right? Verse 8. Drop down to verse 8, Baba Kusha.
Verse 8. Knowing that whatsoever good things any man doeth, the same shall he receive of the Lord, whether he be bond or free.
Verse 9.
Verse 9. And ye, master, do the same thing unto them, forbearing, threatening, knowing that your master also is in heaven. Neither is there respect of person with him.
Fine. So we treat them right with according to their service that they are doing. But we know also in the law, I believe it's in the law. I believe Captain DeBar kind of hit me to this, but it says to not be afraid to beat thy servant on the side or with the rod of iron, roughly paraphrasing.
Yeah, I got that right here. I was gonna bring it out. I was just waiting on you.
Con, go ahead.
Con, this is Sirach chapter 42 and 5. It says, and of merchants indifferent selling of much correction of children, and to make the side of an evil servant to bleed.
Con. Read that for me one more time, Salaki.
It says, I'm gonna start at 1. It says, of these things be not thou ashamed, and accept no person to sin thereby. So that's what it's talking about. You not allowing somebody to sin. You don't be ashamed to do these things. And it tells you in verse 5, and of merchants indifferent selling, correction of children. Don't be afraid to correct your children, and to make the side of an evil servant to bleed.
So, hey, if a heathen is to act up, man, it says to not be ashamed of them. That's something that you should not be ashamed of, right? Righteously, this is righteousness, right? This is righteousness. So, with a servant that is disobedient, don't be afraid to put the rod to him. That's what it's telling you, right? But if a servant is treating you well according to your liking, and he's giving you the desires of your heart through Hamashiach Yahawashi, right? He's entrusted in you, a good servant. You treat him well. Treat them well, or her, right?
So like, Thawon put a precept in the chat.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This will go perfect. This is 33, and we're gonna start at 25. It says, if thou set thy servant to labor, thou shalt find rest.
So don't let him be idle, right? And we know this goes into we apply this because this is righteous wisdom. This is good wisdom. So we apply this to ourselves as well when it comes to Yahawashi, right? Yahawashi, we don't want to be found lacking or idle when it comes to Yahawashi's work. So because we are servants to him, so we don't want to be found lazy or idle. And likewise, our servants, our servants should not be idle. And when it says to put him to good work, right? Go ahead.
God, if thou set thy servant to labor, thou shalt find rest.
Go ahead. Is that it? Is that it?
I think he cut out.
Oh, we can't hear you.
He might leg out.
Where he leave off at? Where he leave off at? Somebody got it?
Class, you want it? Or you want me?
He was in Sirach chapter 33.
Yeah, it's 33. I think he started up. So let me get there right quick.
25. You started at 25.
This is Sirach chapter 33, verse 25. And it says, if thou set thy servant to labor, thou shalt find rest. But if thou let him go idle, he shall seek liberty.
Beautiful. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's going to read on 29. Verse 26, it says, a yoke and a collar do bow the neck. So are tortures and torments for an evil servant.
That's righteous. That's how you're supposed to treat your servants, right? This is how the servants should be treated, right? Because they've got to uphold. Look, the whole thing for a servant is to make sure that he doesn't defile the Israelite, right? Because if the servant goes off, he could defile the Israelite, right? So if he's celebrating birthdays, if he's celebrating Christmas, he could defile the Israelite, right? So he has to be disciplined and understand that he should not do that, right? Because it could cause you to go off. It could cause you to start celebrating and going into sin, right? But is that it?
Verse 27, it says, send him to labor that he be not idle, for idleness teacheth much evil.
God.
Verse 28.
Much evil. That's self-explanatory. Go ahead.
Set him to work as it fit for him. If he be not obedient, put on more heavy feeders.
Right. If he's not obedient, put on more heavy feeders, more work, more laborious work, laborious work. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 29, the point. It says, but be not excessive towards any, and without discretion do nothing.
Go on. Slovakia. So read that bottom part again, Slovakia.
This is Sirach 33 and 29. Be not excessive towards any, and without discretion do nothing.
Right. Don't be too excessive in it. Right. Don't overdo it. Right. It tells you not to be overwise in the scriptures. Right. So that's something you don't want to overdo anything, man. Right. We're supposed to be wise servants. We're supposed to be the wise on this earth and knowing how to apply balance. Know how to apply balance, right? So know how to rule your servant. Servant, know how to serve your master. And that applies to the Israelites that's serving Hamashiach Yahushai, and that applies to you servants that are serving your Israelite master. Right? But we got a few more verses. I got two more verses. Let's get that Sirach 38, Captain 24 through 34. And then I got one more after that. Zion, let me get you to hold Daniel 7 and 18.
Hey, Salaki, let me back up because I can barely hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
This is Sirach chapter 38 and 24. Sirach chapter 38 and 24. It says, the spirit of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure. And he that have little business shall become wise. So
if you got more leisure, if you got more time, you're going to have more time to study, right? It's as simple as that. You're going to have more time to receive the wisdom, to seek out the ancient, to seek out the precepts. If you have more time on your hands, go ahead. Go ahead.
God, it says, how can he get wisdom that holdeth the plow? and that glorieth in the gold, that driveth oxen, and is occupied in the labors, and whose talk is of bullocks.
God, go ahead.
He giveth his mind to make furrows, and is diligent to give the kind fodder. So every carpenter and workmaster that laboreth night and day, and they that cut and grave seals, and are diligent to make great variety, it says, and give themselves to counterfeit imagery, and watch to finish a work.
God,
The
this is
smith
getting
also.
somewhere. This is getting somewhere. It's showing you carpentry. It's showing you farmers, right? It's going to show you a blacksmith. It's getting somewhere. It's getting to the point. Don't miss the point. Go ahead.
God, the smith also sitting by the anvil and considering the iron work. The vapor of the fire wasteth his flesh, and he fighteth with the heat of the furnace. The noise of the hammer and the anvil is ever in his ears, and his eyes look still upon the pattern of the thing that he maketh.
Right.
He setteth his mind to finish his work, and watcheth to polish it perfectly. So doth the potter sitting at his work, and turning the wheel about with his feet, who is always careful set at his work, and maketh all his work by number.
So you got all of these. You got the potter. You got the iron worker. You got the farmer, right? You got the carpenter, and these are all laborious works, right? They're all doing their works. They're all being worn down by their works, right? Continue.
God, Salakia, verse 30. He fashioneth the clay with his arm, and bowed down his strength before his feet. He applieth himself to lead it over, and he is diligent to make clean the furnace. All these trust to their hands, and every one is wise in his work. Without these cannot a city be inhabited, and
It
they
says,
shall not.
It says, without these cannot a city be inhabited. Without these cannot a city be inhabited. You have to have men and women that labor. This is a building of a city, right? This is what brings a city together, brings a city wealth, brings a city value, right? Because you got workers, you got laborers, right? Right? We're going to keep going. Go ahead.
Salakia, and we just read that in the gospel in Isaiah 61, how they're going to be the ones building up everything for us. But verse 30, it says, he fashioneth the clay with his arm. Salakia, verse 32 again. Without these cannot a city be inhabited, and they shall not dwell where they will, nor go up and down. They shall not be sought for in public council, nor sit high in the congregation. They shall not sit.
It says they shall not be sought for in public council, nor sit high in the congregation. These men and women that labor, they have their spot, right? They are the workers of this country, right? They don't sit in the high spot of the congregation. They don't make dictator rules. They don't make executive decisions. They don't for the country. So everyone has their place. But I don't want to. I want to finish this out. So go ahead, Art.
God, it says, I'm going to start at 33 again. They shall not be sought for in public council, nor sit high in the congregation. They shall not sit on the judge's seat, nor understand the sentence of judgment. It says they cannot declare justice and judgment, and they shall not be found where parables are spoken.
Man, that is so powerful, right? So we know who's going to be doing this. This is going to be the hierarchy of the nation of Israel doing this, right? Putting in place of judgment, right? Sitting in the high places in the seat of rulership, right? It says to understand sentences, understand judgment. Those people that work aren't to understand those things. They're not put in place to understand those things. They're put in place to work, to labor, right? So the other nations, though their rule is to build up, like Captain DeBar said, they're to build up our kingdom. They're to labor. Those men and women of understanding are to sit in a high place in the congregation, right? They're the ones who's supposed to make those executive decisions, right? They're supposed to find out where parables are spoken. But let's finish that 34.
God, it says, but they will maintain the state of the world in all their desires and the work of their craft.
So they have their place, and they will maintain the desires of the world. They have their place, right? There's a level to everything. There's a balance to everything. Not everyone is equal in the kingdom. Everyone's not equal here, right? So the order of the heathens is if they want to be blessed, they have to bless. They have to put forth an action and fall underneath an Israelite man or woman and bless them. Put in work, right? The conclusion of all of this, they have a job to do. Put them to work, just like our Lord and Savior put us to work. He caused us to find out these dark sentences, these wise sayings, these precepts upon precepts, line upon line, right? He caused us to do these works and not to be idle. That's what he did. So when you get a heathen that wants to come and serve and he's humble and meek and he doesn't have pride in him or she, put them to work. Give them a job or a task to do, right?
So
Hey, we're going to finish out. Okay, go ahead.
I just got a small point, and yeah, it really is, it's righteous judgment for them to start, building up our kingdom, because the amount of labor the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans been doing for this kingdom and all across the world for over like 400 years is absolutely crazy. How much work we put into this society, and so how much more for them? You know what I'm saying? When it's our turn to reign. Yeah.
Hey, what Captain DeBar brought out that we're 7 generations behind the average European Caucasian family. We will never be able to catch up with them. Not in this country, not in this world, not in this kingdom. We will never be able to catch up with them ever, right? The average so-called Black, Native American, and Hispanic will never be able to catch up. Never, right? So they have a job to do. It is righteous. This is righteousness. This is fair, and this is just. This is fair, right? But go ahead. You got something else, Art?
Nah.
All right, let's get that Daniel 7 and 18. We can end with that.
Hey, that's a nice closing precept, too.
All right.
You want me to get it? Daniel 7 and 6? Got
7 and 18.
7:18. Slakia. This is Daniel 7:18. It says, "But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and forever and ever." Slakia. Possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
God, the saints will take the kingdom forever, forever, and even ever, right? Forever, even forever and ever. The saints will take and keep the kingdom. By Hashem Hamashiach Yahushua. All praises to the Most High, man. So with that, I'm going to give all praises and glory to the Most High God Yahweh. By Hashem Hamashiach Yahushua. All praises and glory. Don't forget, you can never give him too much praise. Right? So with that, Shalom.
God. Call Allah Yahweh by Hashem Hamashiach Yahushua. Shalom.
Hashem Hamashiach Yahushua. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom.